Tyce, how you going?
I am well. How are you?
Tyson, I haven't done my Christmas shopping.
Me neither. I've done nothing. I walked into a supermarket today and had a little blackboard and it had the days to go till Christmas.
Right.
11 days
11
till
days.
Christmas. And I have not done a single fucking thing.
Well, that's because we're very busy podcasting.
Well, it's honestly 24/7 gig putting one episode out a week. I tell you right now.
Exactly. It's okay. We'll get it done.
Well,
in the meantime.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nick Tyson Videotape. It's episode number 87?
87? Really?
Could be. I don't know.
I'm going to go 95.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Price is Right rules. You are way over, my friend.
Way off. It is 87.
87,
well
episode
done.
number 87 of Nick Tyson Videotape. It's our Not Quite Christmas Movies specials.
He did it
I
in
practiced.
one go. Yeah.
This week we're doing what is legitimately a Christmas movie, just to make up for the fact that we did barely a Christmas movie last week.
Yeah.
We're doing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's right. Holiday. Oh, no, wrong song.
Wrong one.
Damn it.
It's that time. Christmas time is here.
That was the song from the start, if you don't know that.
Oh, they knew.
They totally knew. Everyone knows that horrible, horrible song. Oh,
yeah, so we're very excited to be talking about that. We'll get to that eventually.
Chevy Chase and his Chevy Chaseness.
All his Chevy Chaseness. But Nick, why don't you tell the people where they can find our show?
Well, gang, thanks for joining us on this December. I hope you've done your Christmas shopping. I hope you've done your Christmas shopping, but if you haven't, maybe you can't really gift them a podcast, but you can tell them about podcasts.
Give the gift of podcasts.
Give the gift of podcasting. And the way that you can do that is tell them to subscribe us or like us or review us on iTunes or anywhere that you find podcasts.
That's the nicest way to give us a Christmas present.
That
if
is.
you would like to.
No, but it's giving them a show as well to listen to.
Yes, you're giving someone you care about a wonderful show.
How nice is that?
How
That's
nice indeed.
So yeah, you can do that everywhere. And also we're on the social media, which is Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are on YouTube if you're so inclined to view us or listen to us on YouTube. And we're also on an app called Radio Public.
Yes, and we would much prefer you to listen to us on Radio Public.
We would.
Of course, however you listen, that's totally fine.
We're happy with it.
But if you choose to listen on Radio Public, we'll be very grateful.
We do.
We would. Nice one. Well, is that
all
it?
Right.
Why do I feel like that's usually a longer spiel?
Sorry.
I don't know.
I get it quick every time. I'm trying to get it quicker every time.
Well, then let's just move on to...
Also, we watch some trailers then.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, talking trailers. Okay.
Everybody's talking trailers.
Let's start at the bottom.
Oh, all right. Well,
and then go to the top.
All right.
Shall we do it that way?
Yeah. Okay. But it's not really the bottom. I don't want to give everyone the.
Oh no,
the bad
no.
idea.
It's something.
I'm actually very excited about this movie.
Oh. Really?
But we're gonna leave the big one till.
We'll leave the big one
second.
Last. Yeah.
So first of all, we're going to talk about
Brightburn.
Correct.
Who am I? You are a gift. I know it's been difficult for you lately that you feel different from other kids. You are different. After your dad and I got married, we prayed for a baby for so long. One night, someone listened. Brandon? You are special. We believe that you came here for a reason. He was in the barn.
Did he find it?
No. It was like he was drawn to it.
He may look like us. He's not like us.
Now, Nicholas.
It's the name. It puts me off. Yeah.
It's not a great name.
It's not the best name, no. But then again, neither is the next one. But keep going.
No. Brightburn. I mean, I get what they're trying to go with.
bright
they're trying to
star?
say. Well, it's it's like the
Burning
idea
bright.
of a star burning out kind of thing.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
I think that's kind
I
of
think that's where they're coming from.
or something when when you say something about someone who has talent or ability or skills, and you say they want you to burn brightly. You show off what you can do.
Sure.
So, and that's part of the argument. I think that comes a lot through Superman stuff. Is that whole kind of question of remember when he was as he was young? It's like, well, how much can we let him do?
Exactly.
Blah blah
and
blah
why
blah blah.
And why, Tyson, are you making that connection?
Why exactly? Why exactly? Well, we have this very strange, but like fucking fascinating,
very familiar trailer and almost origin story of Superman, but almost in a horror genre.
I would say 100%. I don't think it's an almost. I think it's.
You think they're doing it on purpose?
Deliberate. I think 100% James Gunn, who is producing that. It's been written by his brother, I believe, and one of his old writing partners on.
That's true. Brian and Mark Gunn. Oh, are they? We've got a family of Gunns here.
Yeah, I thought. What's the name? Sean Gunn is the other one. There must be a ton of them.
There can't be this many Guns.
Maybe.
Well. You're talking about
It is
America.
Hey, topical.
But writers are Mark Gunn and Brian Gunn.
Maybe they're pseudonyms. Maybe it's all just James Gunn.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is just James Gunn.
And it's directed by, I think, somebody who...
David Yarovsky.
Who I believe...
what else has he done?
Was his second AD or first AD for for something that he worked on previously.
Okay, cool.
So it's obviously James Gunn is kind of putting the crew together.
Yeah.
And they've all kind of had this idea, which, the pitch itself really does sell the movie itself. If you walk into a studio and say, hey, Man of Steel, but Superman is a crazed serial killer.
It is. It's almost like with great power comes great responsibility, but this kid's gone the other side of the coin.
Side. Yeah.
It's quite scary.
It is quite scary, and I love that the trailer literally...
It's 100% Superman.
It is.
From the shots, you're getting him growing up in a family who's living on a farm, which is very clearly Smallville.
Yeah. We get the wheat fields. We get the sunsets and the swinging.
Exactly.
Swing. Yeah, and the swing set out in the backyard.
Exactly. You get the ship coming down at night time and making a big...
You get the shot of the fucking letterbox even.
Exactly.
Which is
it's a classic Smallville trope.
That was the moment in... I remember this goes back to 2000 and... I should know this year because it's one of my favourite movies. I want to say 2006.
Superman Returns, 2006, yeah.
And the very first time I saw that trailer and...
Amazing.
You heard the... and it just faded up on the letterbox with Kent and the sun rising, and I was sold. I was a
fully
mess, an absolute mess when that started. I was like, "This is good."
Oh my god!
Anything more exciting in my life.
Yeah.
And so it's not hiding it at all, and I love it. I actually love it.
It looks so good.
It's using the font from Man of Steel, the same font.
It is.
It feels like.
You're getting shots of him levitating. So obviously you're seeing him have abilities, and I'm going to say the Martha Kent character is saying the same things like, yes, you're different. I understand that you're feeling different. There is something different about you. I don't know whether we can tell you yet and all that stuff.
Yep.
But you're seeing him go through changes or find his abilities. So he can fly, he can levitate. But the thing is, he's levitating with a red cape on. So
okay.
It's quite obvious what's going on here.
I'm interested to know if this is a world where Superman exists.
Oh, okay.
And he has...
okay.
And maybe he's aware... maybe it starts with him kind of discovering his powers and he...
has taken it the wrong way.
Goes, maybe I'm like Superman, except instead of his moralistic kind of... upbringing kind of taking over and leading him to live a good life. It's like, what if it was the opposite? What if that wasn't good enough? And so what if this kid discovers that he is as powerful as Superman, who is just a comic book character, but is also a sociopath?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what ends up happening?
Do you think he's aware of what's happening to, like, apart from the shot where he's staring down the barrel of the camera and that slight Damien Omen 666 smile. Apart from that, do you think he's aware? Because him chewing on the fork and it's all
has a moment
up,
where
and he's kind of not there.
But maybe that's what I think. Maybe this movie does spend a bit of time with him discovering that he has powers, and it's not until almost similar to another movie that did something like this, Chronicle. The way that when they were discovering their powers, and the Dane DeHaan character kind of went through almost like a Magneto kind of ethos where he's like, no, we are the powerful ones. We should have control.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously the alternative is no, with great power becomes great responsibility.
Yeah.
So maybe as he discovers his powers, instead of it being like, oh, I can use these powers for good, it becomes, oh, well, I'm gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah. I'm gonna see the shit out of this thing.
Me too. It actually, it's a really effective scare as well at the end of the trailer.
It is, isn't it?
There's moments that I find genuinely upsetting unsettling, I should say, in this trailer. I think it's really nicely put together.
Can I ask this question? It's a little off topic.
Sure.
You're a teacher. Do you see these kids? Do you like are there
weird kids that I think are going to murder people?
No.
At a certain age?
No.
Because the answer is yes, by the way.
Really? You go, you're a little
every now
strange.
and then, every now and then you're kind of like, oh, you could possibly go off
I
the
have
rails.
those people at my work as well. It's just that they're in their 20s. And I'm like, I'm going to be friendly to you because otherwise you're going to come to work with a firearm and I'm going to be your mate. I'm your mate.
That's it. You want to be the one that...
You want to be the friend.
The one that gets let go. Oh, Jesus, that's terrible.
That's terrible. Brightburn. I'm going to see this. I'm definitely going to see this.
I like the look of it a lot. I'm really keen.
Maybe a second trailer might turn us wrong.
Yeah, I'm already pretty much. I'd
leave it at this. Leave it at this trailer. You don't need anything else.
And it's funny, it's obviously it feels like an original idea, but it's not. I mean, it's stuff that comic books have
done before,
heaps of times before.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting that they've decided to genuinely take it and make a film out of it, but without it being the Superman character, which is where I think that the interest comes from, because it's like nobody in their right mind would ever let you make that movie.
Yeah.
They said, oh, what if Superman is
an evil? Warner Brothers would go, hey, whoa,
that's not happening, guys.
Yeah.
So they've, I'd be really interested to look at the legality of this.
Yeah.
Because I find it really interesting, like how close. That's it.
You got to walk a fine line, especially because his super strength is in there, flight is in there. He's wearing the red cape, heat vision is in there. Vision. Like,
how close can we get?
It's a farm
before Warner Brothers come knocking.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? Kirby. Is it Jack Kirby?
No. Please, you don't know the creators?
I've lost it in my head right now.
It's Joel Schuster. No, Jerry Schuster and Joel Siegel.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, their family would have a say. Yeah, absolutely.
See, they're getting real close to getting themselves in some trouble. I mean, obviously, you would assume that they had done the work prior to releasing the movie.
Yeah.
But after that trailer...
this has been in the wings for a while. I feel... I'm going to bring up... I don't like what happened to James Gunn. I think it goes against what Disney... I'm probably opening a can of worms here, but it goes against what Disney is about. Second chances, and the moral of the story is you're going to be, I just feel that if something happened in the past, if you did something in the past or came out and apologized or something like that, I was a different person back then. People change. I just felt he was hard done by.
I can see both sides of it, because he was such an outspoken defender of alternative kind of viewpoints, and he always was. And there's whether or not you call it a conspiracy or not, but there is this thing floating around the internet that it was because of his very hard left political views, that people that were sick of having a person like that have such a loud megaphone, because he had an incredibly huge following of people that would always... Because even
before Guardians,
but he was always a big outspoken critic of right-wing political viewpoints, and so it was almost like let's go digging and see what we can find, and they did find some stuff, and so you can't defend you can't defend what he said at all. You can't defend what he did, because what he did was fucking garbage, and he probably deserves to pay some kind of penance for that.
Sure.
But you're right, we hope that people can change, and he seems to be the kind of person that did change and did learn and even he happily admits that he was a different person, and he wish he knew what he knew now then, and blah blah blah. So,
but obviously the damage is done.
Damage is done. You still got to pay your price. So
Jesus, that's
I guess I see it from both points for something like that.
All right.
Brightburn.
Nice.
Well, let's move on to the big one. The big one.
Let's do it.
Stay on. Hey, Miss Potts. If you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. Part of the journey is the end. Just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. That'll be it. When I drift off, I will dream about you. It's always you.
Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
We lost, all of us. We lost friends. We lost family. We lost a part of ourselves. This is the fight of our lives.
This is going to work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Is anyone home? This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany. Got really big.
Is this an old message?
Ant-Man, I know you know that.
It's the front door.
That's me. Can you buzz me in?
Nicholas.
Tyson, Avengers Endgame.
Endgame.
I know you love a little... What are they called again?
No, we've got it wrong. We'll just call it subtitles now because
Okay.
I can't think of anything else.
I hate it.
I don't love it.
I fucking hate it. I flat out hate it. It's stupid. Just say Avengers 4. Come out with Avengers 4.
You would prefer Avengers 4?
I would prefer Avengers. Was the first one Avengers or The Avengers?
It was The
I
Avengers.
prefer anything else. You can think
Really?
of something better than
You
that.
like that bad?
I don't like it.
Okay,
Endgame,
interesting.
It's too... No.
I
Like Infinity
don't
War.
love it.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it anywhere near as much as you seem to. You know, that's you're passionate.
I hate it. It's awful.
The-
I prefer The Last Jedi.
we didn't like the last Jedi.
No, I know.
because it's always the last something.
Exactly, but I prefer that.
The only
Last
reason I
Stand.
don't
I know I've done that
I
before.
don't hate Endgame is because it's been referenced a few times in the series and has not necessarily been the case. And so,
Do you think a lot of people are going to die or have died and not going to come back in this?
well, it's whether or not. I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
Like there will be deaths. I would assume. I don't know how many. I don't know what the result is going to be. But I
Yeah.
like the idea that this phrase that basically means that this is the battle that needs to be won.
Yeah.
Has been brought up twice and wasn't it.
Right.
And so now by them putting that label on it, it's saying,
And
oh no,
that's-
it definitely is
And I think
it.
this is why I don't like it.
Sure.
Because I don't like... it's become a thing where no one dies. No one is ever dead in the Marvel world.
Sure.
It's always kind of, Loki is getting a spin-off, I'm sure. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, just, kill someone off. Get over it. And now they're making a point of like, well, all right, you asked for it. Well, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? And to make that point, we're going to call it Endgame.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
So
see
it's,
that.
it's things in
Would
there
you
that
have
I'm like,
preferred Annihilation, which was the one that we thought it might have been?
yeah, I would have preferred that.
What do you
It's a
think
little
about...
more combat-y, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea that they now refer to the snap as the decimation? Have you heard that?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
That's pretty brutal, isn't
That
it?
is. The decimation.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
I like it.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
It's pretty intense.
There was a lot of talk about Cap's beard being gone and how...
I already miss bearded Cap.
No, I love the shaven Cap.
Oh,
I love the shaven Cap.
I-
But I think
I
that they've
loved
put...
his beard
I think
so
they've put
much.
that in because I think what we're watching is...
In the past?
Has it happened? Yeah, I think it's a flashback. So he comes back to being bearded Cap. I think
Interesting.
yeah, that's my take on it, though.
So, well, let's kind of talk about what we actually see in this trailer, which is not much.
No.
It's compared to the Infinity War trailer. It's basically nothing.
Yeah.
Which I found really interesting.
I liked this. The start Tony bit was really nice.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Especially the look of the helmet. It looks messed up.
Yeah. It's funny how literally the biggest action adventure movie of the past, you could say ever, probably, because it possibly is. It's going to be amazing. Does not feature a single piece of action.
Great. I love it. I'm in.
Yeah, I kind of love it too.
Yeah, you solve it. Don't show me anything.
It is literally maybe just under 2 minutes of people being sad.
Yeah. And how good is that?
And it's an Avengers trailer. That. It's a Marvel comic books trailer, and it is people just sitting around being sad, talking about
because
sad
so
stuff.
many people have died.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I thought it was really, really great. Obviously, you don't get the same level of excitement that you get. Like, I didn't feel the same way I felt after Infinity War. Yeah. That first trailer, I was like, we recorded
it. It was awesome.
Loved it. Was just obsessed.
It was.
And watched it 20 times. And I've watched this a lot too, but it's mostly because I'm just interested in making sure I get all the dialogue and catch all the moments
and little things in
little things.
Yeah.
Of course, we now live in a world where nothing in the trailer could potentially make it to the end film.
No, that's true.
So, and anything we see in a trailer could be altered later.
That's true.
Or could have been altered for the trailer.
Or you're going to see more people in the shot than were in the shot.
Exactly.
Like when everyone was running in Infinity War, there were a lot more people. There were less people in.
No, that shot's not in it.
That's right. That shit's not in it.
It's a slightly different shot.
That's right.
They never even used that shot.
Yeah.
Stuff like Thor with his eyes, like they didn't show the ripped out eyeball in Ragnarok.
Yep.
There was all the stuff with Hela as well. Like she was Hela.
That's right, Hela.
She was in different locations.
Totally different locations. Her headpiece was different. Total
So,
difference. So you may be seeing what we may be seeing is completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe null and void.
And people,
I like that.
I think the things that we're being led to believe about where Captain America and Black Widow are at that point, I think potentially that could be some kind of misdirection.
Yeah.
There's a bit where you see Captain America who's crying, and I think that could potentially be at a different time.
Yeah, because looking at Peggy in his compass again, and him crying, I'm like, the crying isn't over Bucky. I don't think.
No. Well, I would have to assume, and you would assume he'd made peace with Peggy by then.
Yeah. Yeah,
like the whole idea, because he's been macking on with her niece. Yeah. So,
which is it's the only thing I hate. I'm like, no.
So somebody at some point's got to have a conversation about that, because that's been a while.
That was Civil War.
Civil War, yeah. Yeah. It's been a little while now. Someone's got to say something.
I think it should be Anthony Mackie, to be honest, because it's going to go down.
Oh, he loved it though. Remember, he was sitting in the backseat like,
look at my boy. Oh God, I love Civil War.
It's good.
What was the other thing I was going to bring up? No, that's it. I can't remember. Oh, Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's
we
back,
get
baby.
Hawkeye. We get a bit of Hawkeye and we get a bit of Ant-Man in this, which is everyone was like, well, where's Hawkeye? I'm like, calm down, he'll be in this shit.
Yeah. Look, I know his absence was felt. I missed him. I miss Hawkeye.
He's the Han Solo of the group. He really is.
That's not a bad call, actually.
He's the Han Solo. He rocks up like, yahoo! And just,
he's my closet, like my secret little,
really?
Like,
you're a mad Hawkeye fan, aren't you?
It catches up, like it kind of sneaks up on me how big a fan of Hawkeye I am, and I know I'm not.
Love the Hawkeye.
Like,
you're not alone.
In a big group with that. I know there are defenders of him.
No, I think the group is big. I think people love Hawkeye. Yeah,
I get the vibe that people think he's pretty useless.
No, at the start when Avengers. Well, like when the first Avengers movie came out, everyone was like, "What the fuck is Legolas doing?"
Yeah, he got screwed over in that first Avengers movie, though.
Massively,
basically just being a zombie for half of it.
Exactly.
But I remember distinctly the moment he turns up in Civil War, and I unexpectedly let out like a, and I was like, "Oh shit! I think I'm a Hawkeye fan." How did that happen?
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Thor when all of a sudden the character that made me the most like happy and sad, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I'm Thor's my man."
Thor's your guy. Not me. I'm a Cap all the way. Yeah. And if I don't get my shield back, I'm going to be very pissed.
Cap after Infinity War, he's pushing the top for me as well.
And I love that the only man that could go like I need to watch Infinity War again, but it was my favorite bit where at the part where Thanos was just offing people. He had just killed Vision, thank you.
Yeah.
And he was just one by one, everyone was having
They're all
a
having a
shot.
crack
And the
and-
only
yeah.
person that's holding his hand up just screaming was Kat. And I was like, come on, man, go. No, nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. This is
Well, I mean, it goes without saying.
This
I mean, it's going
Hulk
to be an
is going
event.
to make an appearance. Like, you're going to see that come into,
I want this movie to be 3 hours long,
this.
at least. I want this to be like Return of the fucking King.
Yeah.
I want, like, just
Return of the King.
I just want to
extended edition.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
it 4 hours.
4 hours. I
You
could
know
do
what? No. Wait. I want a theatrical version, and then I want a fuck
extended
off fan,
cunt. Yeah,
fan version.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit. I don't want it to end. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I don't want this story to end.
Well, I do love that during this time, since Infinity War and since this trailer has come out,
Yes.
Chris Evans has said, thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I've finished my Cap filming, and it's a goodbye. And everyone was like, whoa, no, he's dead, da-da-da. And then the Russo brothers went, hey, he's going to be in another Captain America. So that's happened.
Yeah.
And also...
Well, it was
the
interesting
other
the way
one?
they said it, is that it's more... They understand why it's emotional for him, but his story is not yet finished. So
maybe he is finished.
maybe he's finished filming everything for it,
Yeah.
but maybe it's not yet. His story has still got more segments. So whether that means that we're not going to get another Captain America movie...
I'm fine with that. We'll leave it at 3.
What's a great trilogy?
That's a fucking rad
It's not,
trilogy.
you can't even call these
No,
trilogies.
you can't.
It
Can
doesn't-
you? I'm
it
not
doesn't work
okay
the
with
same
that.
way.
I'm not okay with that. Like, people putting all the Avengers movies in a box set, that doesn't work.
No, that's dumb.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I have 2 questions before
Yes.
we move on. One,
I'm nowhere near ready to move on.
right.
Let's keep are you kidding? Let's keep talking about this all night.
One, if Cap does die in this, Tice,
Yes.
would you like Winter Soldier to take over, or would you like Falcon to take over?
I think it has to be Winter Soldier.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
just
want
because
the
it's
black
more...
and silver shield. Like
this,
me.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, no offense to Falcon. He's just not as interesting a character. I think everything that has happened with Winter Soldier, I think it's just it's from a storytelling perspective. I think he can do a lot more with him.
He needs to make
taking
good.
up
He
the
needs
mantle
to,
of
He needs
Captain
to make
America.
amends. He needs
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
There's a lot of ground to kind of make.
And I love that about characters. I love characters that are on some kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Comeback.
That's
Underdog?
one. No. Redemption.
Redemption.
I love a redemption arc. I always have, and
Red
so
Dead style.
yes, exactly. Thank you. That's a video game, right? That's one of them video games. isn't it?
My second question:
Yes.
if you have a choice, I want you to pick.
Okay.
If Avengers Endgame,
Yes.
fucking Jesus, if Avengers, you can pick one. Either Avengers Endgame is 4 hours long, or Avengers Endgame is R-rated.
4 hours long.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, decent. Okay.
I don't need these movies to be R-rated at all.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got everything I needed action-wise out of Infinity War. Like,
Yeah.
that is...
But could you imagine the places that it could go if it was R-rated?
I mean, aside from... I don't want to see these characters swearing.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that.
that part of
I'm
it
not
doesn't
talking
mean...
about that. It's not
I
about
don't
swearing.
think the violence
It's just a bit more adult. I don't think it's
change things
violence,
for me.
though. I think it's more adult themes. You're gonna see maybe Black Widow be Black Widow in the way that the comic book knows her.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
things like that.
I get what you're
Things like
saying. I don't think that there's anything that they couldn't get away with at PG-13. I think there are certain characters that might have a cool solo movie that's R-rated.
Nice. Winter Soldier, Black Widow.
Yes, to name
Black
a
Widow
couple.
needs to be at
Black
least
that would be
MA.
cool if Black Widow's
At
was
least an MA. Come on.
Well, MA is the R rating. So MA for us.
Oh, is there R rating?
Is there R?
All right, well, there are.
Yeah.
Do they have another? They have
Our
one.
M is their PG-13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then they've got NC-17, which is our
the
R.
Okay. Well, yeah. Come on, our MA.
Yeah. And look, I remember when MA was introduced here, you'd be surprised at some of the things that do get rated MA, and you're kind of like,
And you're like, why?
What are you talking about? This is nothing. There's no fucking...
Gremlins is fucking scarier than this.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So
That's PG.
I don't know. Yeah, I could see a couple of the stories.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think I need to see it from anybody else.
Yeah.
I'll take a 4 hour any day.
I would take a 4
I would just sit.
I would.
man.
Oh, it's going to be a nice.
Just let it,
long
let
watch.
these movies breathe. Let them have as much room as they need because they've kind of earned it. I feel like they've earned the time. Let all the stories just have their moments. Let it all unfold naturally.
If this podcast is still going when my son is, let's say, 8 or 9, or 10. Let's say 10.
If we haven't all been killed by robots.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Or annihilated by nuclear bombs from Donald Trump. If he's 10, I promise you this. I am going to pull him out of primary school. And I'm going to say, we are watching Phase 1 today. All of it. And then I'm going to do it again, and we're going to watch Phase 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all of them.
It's the best idea ever.
Please. I can't wait for that shit.
And
you know what? And you know what's going to happen to me? Because I love this shit, and because I'm such a comic book fan and a lover of film, he's going to go, no, Dad, I want to stay at school.
Yeah.
I've got a test today.
No, Dad, I got cricket training.
Cricket training? Cricket training? Oh, fuck.
You are not my son.
Who are you? Who are you? Where's your friend Lachlan? Get him to come around here. Watch it.
I have no son.
What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
That's what it's going to be like.
I like it.
All right.
All right, well, exciting. There's probably more stuff we can talk about.
There is tons, but we're going to come back because of what did you watch this week? Which you'll have to wait till the end.
Yes,
so
wait till the end because
stay tuned.
there is some relevant things to that trailer.
There you go.
That we'll
bring it up again.
Later.
We'll bring it up again.
Which I guess that means that we're onto our feature prez.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And now for our feature presentation.
'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
After vacationing across America and throughout Europe,
Take it, Russ.
this holiday season, the Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
Oops. They're staying at home.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater, Clark.
All Clark wants is a quiet, old-fashioned Christmas.
Sorry. Got a little knot here. You can work on that.
What he's going to get is the gift that keeps on living.
Merry Christmas.
His family.
We didn't come to impose.
Oh, hell, there's plenty of room.
Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted that is, Mom?
Well, I'm sleeping with your father.
Have you got a kiss for me?
You better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
But no holiday could ever be more deeply touching.
We were gonna call, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
I was really gonna fly down the hill with this stuff.
So genuinely moving.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere, leave you for dead?
More truly uplifting.
Can I show you something?
I was just browsing.
Or more down to earth.
Merry Christmas!
If Santa is smart, he'll stay well clear of this joint. It's a death trap.
Than Christmas with the Griswolds.
Everybody come on, quick, look at the lights!
They want you to say grace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
This year, let Chevy Chase light up your holidays. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That thing had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
You woo, crack up.
Holiday Road. I actually really like that song.
It's a great song.
It's a good song, yeah?
But it's
better than...
It's that time.
It's such a
Christmas time is here.
You do it so well.
I love it.
Do you really?
I actually do really enjoy the cartoon.
I do like that because that's...
the cartoon opening. It's really fun.
It's nostalgic for us.
So we're talking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation from 1989, Nicholas.
89 times.
Yes.
An 80s movie. I like the way doing it.
It is, and on the cusp of 90s trash.
It is. Is this what they call a... Oh, damn it. What?
Is this what they call a what?
Is this what they call a screwball comedy? Is that what this is? Like, in my head, I'm like, is this a screwball comedy?
Oh, well, I guess
Is
so.
it though?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, I got 2 questions for you, Nick.
Okay,
I
sure.
think this will get us started.
Oh, sure.
Question number 1.
I like questions.
What's your kind of relationship with the National Lampoon series?
Very far and few between.
Sure.
I'll be honest. I believe I've only fully seen all the way through The first one, so National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yep.
I remember, is that the one where they tie the dog to the back of the car and he's on the lead? And anyway,
shit.
Yeah. So that's the one.
Pushing my memory.
Yeah, that was the one that was always on TV. So I've seen that.
It's Wally World.
That one. Yeah. So I watched that, and then I've seen bits of Vegas Vacation. That's because Vegas Vacation came out, Tice, the year I started at the video store.
What, like 98?
Let's have a look. I think it is, yeah.
Was it that big a gap?
Oh, 1997.
97. Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't a Chevy Chase fan. I didn't watch Fletch. I wasn't a fan of, what are the other things that he's done? The big things he's done?
I was a relatively big fan because I was a huge fan of Three Amigos, even though Chevy Chase isn't.
But he was not what I'm watching it for. I'm watching it for Martin Short.
Oh, well,
you're watching it for
I'm watching it for
Steve.
Steve Martin. But I did really like him in that. And so that led on to a couple of other movies that I used to like.
Caddyshack, that was a big one.
Caddyshack I've never actually been a huge fan of, funnily enough. It was there were a couple of movies that my parents used to like watching. This sounds funny.
Here we go.
It's quite a nice story though. Like, so for some reason I used to enjoy, well, not for some reason, for a very obvious reason, I used to really enjoy watching movies with my parents that made them laugh. So seeing my mum in hysterics of laughter, I used to really enjoy.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it was like a personal thing. It was like, so if it was a movie that I knew would make them laugh, I would always want to watch it. And so if it came on the TV a lot, I would always be like, oh, this is on TV. And those two of those movies were Foul Play, the Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chase kind of spy,
I know the cover very, very well.
Spy kind of weird kind of. That's a screwball comedy. That's 100% a screwball comedy. And the other one was Funny Farm.
Oh, right.
Which I've always really, really enjoyed, even though it's probably not a great movie.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, just really used to love watching that. I think there's multiple laugh out loud moments in that film.
In Funny Farm.
So
my watching of Chevy Chase is very rare. Like I've watched more Chevy Chase on Community than anything else.
Oh well, yeah, I've watched the entirety of Community. So yeah, I'm with you there. To be honest,
and my brother loves, for some reason. Do you remember Nothing But Trouble? God, that was a weird one with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
And who's dressed up weird? Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd's dressed up weird.
With the weird makeup.
And he goes to like a weird, funky house. I'm going to watch that again. It was just
I will
bizarre.
be quite honest with you. I have memories of this movie, but I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
Yeah. But that's on saying that, that's my memory of Christmas Vacation. I have memories of it. I know things that happen in it, but I've never sat from credits to credits and finished it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, never. So this is my first watching time.
Well, this obviously, when Christmas used to roll around when we were younger, this was always on television, and I did watch it a lot. I'll be honest with you, it was because of that same reason. It was an easy one that you could just chuck on the television. The family would sit around and watch it, and we'd have a bit of a laugh at some dumb stuff happening.
Did you laugh this time?
A couple of times, yeah.
Did you?
Not a lot. I'll be honest with you. So let's let the cat out of the bag pretty early.
We fucking hated this
movie. We both did not enjoy this movie. And it was a sad kind of realization about half an hour into it that this
is shit.
This is barely a movie.
I know. Where's the fucking storyline, people?
I was amazed at how loosely held together this is. It is a series of kind of
scenes,
kind of not funny sketches.
Yeah.
Held together really loosely.
By a character.
By one character. And the editing of this film is so strange because scenes end either like what feels like maybe 3 lines earlier than they should.
Or just a slapstick fall and then end scene. And I'm like, no, wait. Oh, okay.
Or maybe sometimes like a good 3 or 4 lines after you think they would end.
Oh, yeah. That dinner scene? That should have ended.
Well, it's
ages
like, I see
ago.
the point of the scene, but then there's more stuff happens, and I'm like, what are we done here? Can we get out of here now?
Exactly what I thought. The scene with him eating the
really
fucking
bummed.
turkey, I'm like, why?
That is one of my. I love that moment though because that is one of my most distinctive memories. The
turkey exploding.
The turkey just.
I love
going
that. and it looks like something from fucking Alien.
And the way they all eat, and it's just all of them crunching away on
just really hard crackle.
Yeah, it's I actually look. I think there are moments in this movie that are pretty effective.
Hey, I laughed out loud a couple of times.
It's impossible not to, I think.
Yeah.
I really do think it's impossible not to laugh out loud. Like, none of the stuff that I used to laugh at as a kid, like, none of the Cousin Eddie shit works for me anymore. It's all just disgusting. It's all terrible. He's the worst character.
He's great.
Get out of this movie.
He's horrible.
He's awful.
He is.
And his poor wife, who seems quite lovely, has just got the worst deal ever.
Worst deal.
And somehow he has a beautiful daughter who just seems like she's just lovely, and also a weird kid that stares at everything with
For some
Elvis
reason,
hair.
they chucked a wig on, and it was like, okay, sure, she has a wig. Okay.
Yeah, because they made her like a mini grandma from Addams Family.
I know. It was weird. And Chevy Chase's wife, by the way,
Beverly D'Angelo.
While I was watching this, I'm like, Jesus, she's copped a raw deal. She's not getting any support here. Support your wife, you fucking asshole.
So, as a character, like, the Griswold family. Like, have obviously had a rough run. He's that character, that Clark Griswold character.
I hate that his name's Clark, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
that pissed me off. I'm like, what?
I bet.
Yeah.
He's a really interesting comedic character, the way they've built him.
Yeah.
And I think it works. It works in Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've seen Vacation, but my memory of it is that it works pretty effectively because he is so
shit. Or just
well, he's not as shit in Vacation, but I'd have to double check again because, like this movie, there are some pretty sus things going on that make him not a great guy. And whether or not I'd have to go back to Vacation to see how much of that still exists. Because isn't there like a whole subplot in Vacation where he's trying to follow around the chick that flashed him in the car so he can bang her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool, is it?
It was of the time.
Of the time.
Fuck that. We've gotten better than that. We've gotten better. But yes, this is what the 80s screwball comedies used to do.
Yeah, but usually it wasn't a guy who was married with kids.
I know, right? It was
trying to go on a family vacation, who also at the same time is trying to bang a chick that flashed him.
I know. It was a Revenge of the Nerds troupe who were trying to bang them. Or Porkies, which was just awful.
It's like frat boys running around just being douchebags and thank God
and perving. And we've moved on.
Well, we'd like to think we've moved on, but there was some things in the news this week that was pretty unsettling.
Oh, Jesus.
But here we have they try to make him likable, right? They do really try to make him likable.
Yeah.
By being so driven to make something for his family, make a Merry Christmas for his family.
He wants moments in life that he can create himself. Going out and getting the tree. No, we're not going to go to a farm or get a fake one. We're going to drive an hour and a half and get a tree and just cut it down and put it in which is just so problematic. And it was massive. The tree was way too big.
Well, I think that's the gag.
I know that was the gag, but I love him. I love him. And you know what else I love about the dynamic of the family? They all take the piss out of him as well.
They do.
Especially the son, which he was ending up being my favourite.
The interchangeable actors that play these kids, but they're all, we've got bloody Johnny Galecki this time.
Who was it in the first one?
Wasn't it? It wasn't Andrew Michael Hall? What's his actual name?
Anthony Michael Hall.
Thank you. Wasn't it? Yeah,
I think
he did one of them.
Yeah, it was Anthony Michael Hall, Rusty Griswold. And do you know who it is in Vegas Vacation? It was Preston Myers from Can't Hardly Wait.
No shit. Yeah. Ethan Embry.
I think it's Ethan Embry. Yeah.
Preston Myers.
Preston Myers, bro.
And
you got to remember,
it's Preston, man. it's Preston.
He wears t-shirts. Yeah, it is Ethan Embry. Look, that's hilarious.
Love it.
You got to remember as well. This is the third National Lampoon's Vacation, so maybe they're scraping the barrel here. Is that what they were doing?
Well, I think,
but I feel like this succeeded.
This is the one that most people gravitate towards because it became such a Christmas tradition for families probably with kids roughly our age.
Yeah,
because
it was safe.
It was safe enough.
Yeah,
it would have hit TV. Like obviously the movie came out in '89. It would have hit TV probably 92-ish.
Yeah.
We're talking we're 10-ish, we're 9, 10, 11, in that kind of ballpark.
Uh-huh.
Perfect we're the perfect age for that because we can appreciate the slapstick stuff. There's nothing too raunchy in it. There's the fooling around with the chick in the
shop,
the lingerie sales lady,
yeah,
which isn't great.
It's fine,
but it's clean enough that as a 10-year-old you don't have to. Your parents don't have to cover your eyes or anything. You can just be like, oh, that's probably going over their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we can laugh at stuff like a squirrel getting caught on someone's face, and you know what I mean. Like we can enjoy that stuff.
That bit, by the way, I was like, hey, hang on a minute, it's a squirrel. How about you just relax? It's
Why
fine.
are people so nuts about
It's a
squirrel? If a possum was in my house, I'd be a little bit like, oh shit, what do we do?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. You leave a trail of breadcrumbs out the door.
But I'm not flipping out like these people are.
Especially over a squirrel. Squirrels are nice. Possums will fight you. They'll be like, hey, mate, how you going? You want to, oh, what's that you got
Yes,
there?
it's a good point. If a possum started that thing noise
run!
at me, I might run too.
Yeah.
But squirrels don't do much,
Squirrels
do they?
are lovely. No.
They just fuck around with their acorns.
Exactly. I've seen squirrels in real life. Went to New York
yeah?
to go squirrel watching. We just sat in the park and they were everywhere. And I was like, wow, we didn't have to go watching. They literally are everywhere. And it was fine.
Cool story.
Squirrels are nice. How good was that story? Huh? one for the. Hey, I am a dad. You know, I got to come out with a dad story somehow. I don't do dad jokes. I do dad stories.
I like that one.
It was horrible.
Yeah. So I ended up
gone
because I wasn't enjoying this movie particularly much.
What did you end up doing?
I ended up kind of trying to get to the bottom of the psychology of Clark Griswold.
God,
because I find him really interesting.
Had to do this shit.
But don't you think he's a really interesting character?
No, I think he's messed up and fucked and needs some time on a couch talking to someone who is professional.
Maybe.
Because he's got some weird, like, do you know what I wanted? I because I'd never seen it before, I was like, no, where's the Christmas, the Christmas moment? Like in Elf, when everyone sings and it's like, oh, this is really nice, that part. But no, it wasn't that.
They did try every now and then, but I found those moments to be actually less effective.
Like when he was watching the movies in the attic, I thought, oh, I know what he's going to do. He's going to show them this.
I did actually laugh at that.
And go, oh, that's going to be lovely. I love how he just stepped through his own roof and just stayed there.
And
I was
then
like, fuck it.
Yep.
That's exactly what I would have done.
I did have a good giggle when the mum opens the thing and he just falls flat through the floor. I was like, that's not bad. But that's a scene that ends and you're like,
oh,
okay, thanks.
Okay, sure.
So
you're not going to talk about the movies you just watched and how it made you feel all giddy? No, okay.
Like that, there should be something in that, shouldn't there? Like, but this is so it's kind of I don't know if this movie is genuinely. It's written by John Hughes, right?
It is. I saw that.
That surprises me because
it does. Where's the heart?
There's no very little heart in this movie, and it's almost got this cynical approach to the heartfelt moments. Yeah. Because there's also that speech with his dad.
Yep.
When, his dad comes in and says, what are you doing? This isn't you. You're a good dad, but it's scummy what you're doing.
Yeah, what you just did
we get
wrong.
A nice opportunity for him to say something like, when he says, oh, Dad, how did you do it? How did you do it? And you get the opportunity for a nice little moment where it goes, well, son, it's my family.
Yeah.
Christmas, if Christmas with my family is the most important thing, and whatever we had to do to blah, 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 blah. And you get maybe one little snippet, and he's like,
exactly.
Oh, I had a friend in Jac Daniels. And they both giggle, and you're like, oh, your dad
was an alcoholic.
And that's the joke, is it? I guess
so
maybe.
It's a good thing that you drank and didn't.
That's it. So if you want to enjoy Christmas with your family, just
you should
get
booze up.
drunk.
Well, you're not wrong.
I'll tell you what, I do enjoy a bevy or two on Christmas. But I just found it to me, that's such a cynical way to approach that conversation.
Yeah.
Like because that's not a heartfelt moment.
No, the heartfelt moment that you got was the little girl coming up and saying, "Are you Santa?" That was kind of nice.
That was nice.
That was
You're
nice.
right. That was a nice one.
That bit wasn't in the movie.
Yeah,
and
because every time something good happens and the family are all like, oh, Clark, oh, Dad, and they all have hugs and it's like, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it great? Something happens.
There's a lot of those moments.
Yeah, exactly. Then something else happens, like like something blows up or something.
Yeah.
Someone throws a match into a pile of shit and everything goes, and or the Christmas tree burns down. It's always that one old dude who keeps burning shit down. Just get rid of him.
I wanted to hit him. I really wanted to hit him. Like, can you stop
Smack
fucking shit up?
that toupee off his head.
Oh, God.
So even though in those moments where it's meant to be like this, because we're clever enough to know that they're setting it up to be a bit of a pratfall immediately after. There is no sincerity there.
No. It's just becoming formulaic, though, that this is going to happen. And it's almost like remember there's a lot of these types of movies in the 80s where it was like, no, everything falls apart. Either it's your house or...
Well, I do like a movie like this. I do like that kind of...
Really? You just can't win? There's no winning?
Yeah. I do enjoy some movies like this. Something like, having... It only jumped into my head because you spiffy? Because you specifically said it. But something like The Money Pit, which is like, essentially, you're right. It's
everything falls apart.
It's legitimately literally everything falling apart in this house.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like movies where just things go bad. Like, it's just thing goes bad after the next thing goes bad after the next thing.
Like,
they can be quite fun movies.
Yeah, as long as you have some flow through with the story, which this didn't have. Like, my favourite, the one that I wanted to watch directly after this because of John Hughes, was Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Because it's almost like a Christmas movie, but it's Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
And
I did actually...
And that is everything going wrong, but you have a heart in there.
Yeah, that's a great example of this genre of film. The just going from bad to worse. I actually was really bummed because in my head, I thought it was Christmas.
No, it's Thanksgiving.
I actually, when we were first choosing this movie for this year, I was like, oh, it's perfect. Let's do Planes, Trains, Automobile. I've been meaning to watch it again for years. I can't wait.
I love it.
Googled. Oh, Thanksgiving. Fuck. I was so disappointed because I really loved that movie.
I remember that end scene where John Kenny's waiting by himself in that train station. And it's Thanksgiving, and he's got no one around him, and he's just sitting there. I felt that, like, as a movie that was very influential, hard hitting, like very heartfelt. That was number one.
It catches you off guard with how big a heart that movie has, which is like exactly what we were saying before, which seemed to be a bit of a calling card of John Hughes. Like, because his movies were funny generally. Like, I mean, he's written stuff that wasn't always funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you look at his like teen movie output and his kind of the family movie output, I guess we'll call it, the Home Alones and all that kind of stuff.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah. You look at it and it's hilarious and all kinds of things go funny and blah 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 blah. But it always catches you. It always catches you with an emotional center.
Yeah.
And that's what he was always able to do really well, even with the worst ones of his movies. You know, something like
Curly Sue.
Sure.
It was the last one.
It's not a bad example, to be honest.
I still watched it.
Like some of his 80s, like some of the teen output. Like if there was, I personally like it a lot, but it's because I like an underdog. But something like Some Kind of Wonderful, which is maybe not the strongest one, but isn't really that funny. It doesn't go for the comedy thing. It tries to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, but
big heart, always a big heart,
massive. And
it might not always work, but it's always there. This just felt so cynical. And I was like, this doesn't feel like the same guy.
But I didn't like that there was no storyline. Literally, you hit it nail on the head. It was just scenes strung together by a character.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, the story is putting this dysfunctional family together at Christmas. Yeah. I mean, there wouldn't be there's not much of a story in the first one. They're just trying to get to Wally World.
Right.
There is a narrative. In a way, because it's a journey, so they can go from step A to B, C, D.
But it's almost like a road movie. Yeah.
But because of this being in a centralized location, that gets taken away, and all we get, is like vignettes. It's like little shorts. Of
sketches from SNL almost.
It's like, this is Clark Griswold putting up the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And then this is Clark Griswold watching his home movies and blah blah blah.
Getting stuck in the roof and not going shopping.
Yeah, so we don't get any kind of. I mean, we don't get narrative journey. We get character journey, I guess.
Do you?
I guess a little bit,
maybe.
Because really, in the end, it's just like he gets his Christmas bonus, so they're going to get a pool and let's all have Christmas. I guess now, like
I don't know.
To be quite honest, I did enjoy the last half an hour or so of the movie a lot more
than the first.
Yeah, I found that once it got to, is it Christmas Eve?
I think it's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when it gets to Christmas Eve, it really steps up a notch because it gets so ridiculous. I was surprised because I didn't remember just how ridiculous it got at the end. I think as a kid I zoned out by this point.
You were bored. You were going.
I think I might have been bored and gone and done something else. Yeah, because I did not remember a SWAT team showing up or anything like that. Like,
that was a bit full on.
This is getting really wild. Like this is going. It's getting a bit
cop cars there.
Yeah. And it was finally getting into a bit of a zany kind of headspace.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like ludicrous what was happening. You were just like, but you had to go along with it. And I wish more of the movie had done that more. If it could have been a bit
I was sold as soon as Aunt Bethany rocked up.
No, which one's Aunt Bethany?
Aunt Bethany was the oldest woman with the guy with the big cigar.
Yeah.
As soon as she rocked up, I was sold. I was like, more of her, please.
She's funny.
She was hysterical.
There's something really hilarious about them all just starting to sing Star Spangled Banner.
That was the one. That was a bit that I was like, no, you know what? If that happened, you would go along with it.
Of course you would.
You'd be like, that is gold. And you'd laugh your ass off later. It was so good. That and the cat. I love that. What happened to the cat?
Oh, the poor cat. And look, you know me, I'm not cool with...
I know.
I'm not cool with anything.
But you don't see anything. You know, it's just an outline of a burn of a cat. It's fine.
You see a cat-shaped burn in the ground where
they literally just take the chair and put it out on the sidewalk with all the rest of the shit. And the other thing, you know what I did love about this? Watching it now, it was a nostalgia piece. So in the 80s, because we had Christmas in the 80s, our parents putting up the Christmas lights, Tice. If one bulb was out, they were all out.
Yeah, 100%.
And this was your dad let you know how much of a fucking pain this was every year. And I loved that kind of element too, like that gag with the house lights. It was that. And that's what I love. So those little pieces like that, getting around, having all the family together. I've never had that before. I've always gone to other people's houses, to my grandma's and things like that for Christmas. But, you know, you get the sense of family coming together. Oh, yeah, I have to see that relative again. God damn it, they just talk shit. But yeah, things like that.
Look, it's a couple of things the movie does well, I think. And you're right. It does. It each of the little scenes... feel very reminiscent, and they do. I think they do. It does capture the spirit of a manic family Christmas relatively well. I think it plays it up, obviously, to a million. But you know, like stuff. The way they all, you know, that scene where all the relatives arrive, I think is well directed and well written.
It is.
And, you know, just little moments,
especially
like the way they're all talking to each other, and then it's like, oh, look, it starts off with, you know, Merry Christmas, and then it's like, look at this mole, has it gotten bigger? And then there's
you're really big now.
Yeah, there's the you know, the grandma going, oh, you're gonna get to ride my feet, and Russ is like, yeah, can't wait. Like, so the way that it goes, like it shows that kind of the journey from. Oh, how excited everyone's here, to all the things that make you crazy that you know that you're going to have to deal with for the next 2 weeks. Which is really funny.
Weeks.
Like, well, I mean, obviously it's something that we don't do as much here, I don't think, in Australia, but the way that all the relatives arrive on like the 17th and they're just
there for the time.
And
they do stuff.
Yeah, they do stuff. And like the dinner, they have a dinner that's as big as Christmas dinner on like the 20th. And I'm like, well, what are we fucking doing here? Like,
what's the point? You might as well just rock up on the, you know.
How many times do I have to cook these fucking 20 people a meal?
Can we just get pizza like in Home Alone?
Exactly. This is one of those movies where I look at the house that he has and I look at, like, there's a conversation he says somewhere at one point where he's like, you know, we don't have a lot of money. And I'm like, excuse me.
You have a double-door garage.
Look at this fucking house, my man. You're doing fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You could probably afford the pool, even without the bonus.
Yeah, well...
You've only got 2 kids.
Exactly.
You don't have 4.
Sell some of that fucking classic antique furniture you've got floating around in this place. That armoire, or whatever you call it, with all that china in there. Thank you.
Yeah.
That thing would be worth a couple of grand. I think you'd be right.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
So it's such an 80s classic Hollywood movie thing where there's that meme floating around Facebook where it's a picture of the Home Alone house, and it's like with every passing year, I know.
Oh my God! Seriously,
the older I get,
does Kevin McAllister's dad do?
I start to wonder what he does.
Do?
Exactly.
That house is. It's a mansion.
Yeah.
It's a full mansion. And I, you know, even as a kid watching Home Alone, when I know because he had to bunk with Fuller, even watching that, if someone said, Nick, you're sleeping up in the attic, I'd be like, yeah, peace. Yeah. Excellent. I'll take my Mega Drive. Peace. Have fun. I'll grab my pizza. Yep, this is for me, this is for me, this is for me. Grab the Pepsi and see you later. Where's Nick? I don't give a shit. Yeah. Don't talk to me. I would love that.
For sure.
Oh, I would love that, especially because you have your own door that goes up and
I wish attics were an Australian thing.
Me too. We don't have them.
We don't. Well, we do.
We have roofs.
We have roofs, and we have
get into the ceiling.
We have the space there. But we don't utilize that space the way that it seems to be kind of a regular thing for American people to be like, oh,
we stock.
It's in the attic.
Yeah, it's
like
storage.
Well, it's not just storage, but people like use their attic for space. Like they put down floorboards and stuff. And so it's storage, but you can also go up there and hang out. And some people, you know, if you need a spare room.
Yeah, as a teenager, you go, no, I'm a teenager now, and the attic is mine. It's my space.
Exactly. So they you know, that's it. You can put a couch up there, you can put a TV up there, people hang out in their attic. I wish that was a thing that was here.
I was so pissed off
that
happened.
Like we've been stooge.
And especially with, you know how if you had an attic, you would lift the attic window up and go sit out on the roof.
On the roof.
Why isn't that a thing here?
Such American roofs.
Thing here?
We don't really have windows out to roofs in Australia.
We don't. Well,
there's not many of them, houses like that. We tend to just have roofs.
They're normally flat. Either that or they're corrugated iron and they're 40 degrees.
We've missed a lot in Australia.
Yeah.
Because we've been brought up on Hollywood films.
This is what we miss out.
Yeah.
This is what we're missing.
It's no wonder that we all sit there when we're young and we're just like, I want to go experience American things.
Yeah,
it's because all of it looks so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. When in reality,
it's probably no different.
It's run by white supremacist arsehole.
Yeah, I'm overweight. 2020 is when I'm planning my fucking American holiday.
Yeah.
November 20th or whatever.
Wait another 5. Let it cool down for a bit before you go.
I want to see that motherfucker get booted out the front door. Anyway.
Can a screwball comedy like this exist in 2018?
I feel like you could, yeah.
It's not a screwball comedy, by the way, is it? Am I saying that wrong? Is it?
It depends how you define screwball comedy.
Is screwball comedy more... Oh, no, we talked about this with our letter from Luke. It's not like Flying High.
No, that's not a screwball.
Parody. That's a parody.
Obviously, I think you were closer to the mark before with, like, Porky's Revenge of the Nerds.
Right.
Meatballs.
Okay, so this is close, but not really.
No, it's essentially those movies do similar things. Those movies don't necessarily have plots.
Yeah, it's
Police
just
Academy is a screwball comedy.
Oh, there you go.
So they don't have... They have an overarching plot, but it's not driven by a specific narrative. It's mostly scene by scene kind of comedy where there is a plot, but who gives a fuck? It's like, all right, how funny is the bit where, you know...
He falls through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know...
Or his head goes through the wall and his head is now in the girl's toilets.
Or Police Academy, it's like, you know, how funny is the bit with the shoe polish on the... When they put the shoe polish on his megaphone.
Let's watch that. Is there a Christmas Police Academy?
There is not.
God damn it. Isn't it Moscow?
I think one of them is set Mission to Moscow.
Mission to Moscow, Christmas style.
One of them is probably set at Christmas. We should discover that, actually.
We should look that out. Yeah.
Because if there is one, I can't remember specifically, but if there is one, that could be a bit of fun for next time. Yeah, so you can keep calling it a screwball comedy. I know what you're trying to say. And
but
in
2018...
it's not quite right.
It's not going to exist. What exists would be like almost like, oh, you know what it is? It's Bad Mums Christmas at Christmas. Bad Mums 2 Christmas style.
Well,
is that what it was called?
I think it's just called a Bad Mums Christmas.
Is that what we get now? Like we get this sort of...
Yeah, but the thing about the Bad Mums movies, I haven't seen the second one. I actually didn't mind the first one.
The first one was awesome.
I should watch the second one.
I loved it.
But we now have such high concept comedies that you can't just have characters and the funny things that happen. Even the Bad Mums movie becomes a thing about the fucking PTA and all this stuff. Like, think of those like Horrible Bosses movies, or a good movie from this year, a reasonably good comedy from this year, Game Night. We don't get these kind of comedies anymore where it's just things are happening to these people and it's funny.
Yeah.
You need to have this
story.
You need to have a narrative, a really strong narrative that drives it. You know, Game Night, it's this whole thing about whether or not it's, you know, they're doing one of these role play, you know, murder mystery party kind of things, and it turns real. You know, and so all these things happen. It's so much more high concept now. You couldn't just say, let's put the Griswolds at their Christmas time and hilarity ensues. Or, you know, that's probably being a bit kind. Moderate laughter ensues.
Moderate laughter. Maybe some funny things happen.
A few chuckles here and there.
Sure.
Can
something blow up? Yes.
Yeah, we can arrange that.
We can blow something up, sure.
We can definitely arrange that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so I guess if you wanted to call it a narrative, we do have the kidnapping of Brian Doyle Murray, the boss.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the closest thing. And that's the last 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah.
There was more narrative in The Neighbours, Elaine the Neighbours.
Oh, we haven't even talked about The
Neighbours. which when I realised about 20 minutes in that I was like, oh, this is bad.
Right.
This is not good. This is bad. This is a bad choice, Nicholas. So when 20 minutes in when that happened, I was like, oh my God, it's Elaine. And then I was just loving Elaine and her partner just dealing with the Griswolds and the shit that would happen. And looking at the interior of their house, I was like, this is hilarious. I love the 80s. All I can hear is Billy Idol in the background.
Yeah, and it's so great how it's that perfect time where it's not quite 90s yet.
Yeah, no.
But it's not quite like...
We haven't finished with the 80s.
Yeah, we're still hanging on to some bits, but maybe there's some pastel triangle shapes starting to make an appearance.
Exactly.
Some triangles and circles.
They're very, very light, almost like really light blue.
Yeah,
and
nicely...
things are turning... For some reason, was it 80s that everything turned to glass tables, or was that a 90s thing? Because my mum still fucking has hers.
Yeah, we've still got some.
Mum, get rid of your glass coffee table. Oh, and you know what it is? The center of it is glass, but the frame is metal but painted silver.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. We've got a few of those. My mum and dad have still got a few of those bad boys.
Jesus.
This era's fascination with taking the piss out of yuppies, I find really interesting as well. Do you know what I kept thinking of? It reminded me so much of is it David Duchovny and somebody else in Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead?
Yeah.
They were like, the way it's just like, we need villains, I guess. Our Christmas movie needs some villains, maybe? Let's make them yuppies. Yeah. And I love how... Normally in this situation, the yuppies would always get the best of the Griswolds, but he gives it back to them so hard. Like when he brings home the tree, he's like, bend over and I'll shut up your ass. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh,
and I'm like, whoa.
Not you, her.
Whoa there.
Just
pump those brakes. Let's pump some brakes.
Cool your jets, Griswold.
He's going to shove a tree up Elaine's butt.
Because you're going to get in some trouble for saying that shit. Let's just pump the brakes. Cool your jets.
That was good.
You're right. Usually you'd get these characters would hang shit on him and keep having one over him, and then he'd go to get and then they'd get their comeuppance at the end. Like when he goes to get the tree, it's like he picks the perfect one, and then someone goes, "Oh, we've actually just sold it to those two." And
exactly,
and it's like, "Hey, Griswold,
I'll see you later, Griswold's nice car, by the way."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but they just get hang shit on the entire movie. They're like, we just want people to suffer and have...
From accidents. Not on purpose, just accidents happening to them. And that's why I loved it. And I love Elaine.
It's
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It must have been when Seinfeld, maybe a year later?
I don't know. I'm just about to look that up. Because I need to know, what was the other guy's name? What was her partner's name? Was he a guy? Was he a thing?
I didn't recognize him, to be honest. Because I couldn't imagine if Seinfeld had already happened, her taking this role. I just see no reason for it. But I feel like Seinfeld it couldn't have been any later than 92 or 91, the first season.
It was definitely the 90s. I think it was even almost 89. I think it was straight after this. Let me have a look.
Season 1 of Seinfeld, I'm going to say 91.
No, season 1 of Seinfeld was, I'm pretty sure, 89.
Really?
Yeah, I think it rolled into it. I could be wrong. Oh, no, 1990. I was wrong.
1990. So immediately after this, Seinfeld starts. Yeah, there's no way post Seinfeld Elaine is making this movie.
Is making this. No.
There's no chance because it's just such an unglamorous role. You basically just got to turn up. Unglamorous? I just want to correct myself there. Is that an actual word?
An unglamorous role?
Unglamorous or inglamorous? No, it's definitely not inglamorous.
It's not in. It's un.
We just like to learn a little things here on Nick Tyson Videotape. We like to just make sure that...
Further on down the track, we're going to bring out the dictionary. We're going to go, what word did we learn today?
To say when we said this?
Exactly.
There's no way she's putting herself in this position where it's basically just you are the awful person that has bad shit happen to you.
Well, she did quite a bit in between, Tice.
Really?
So it was National Lampoons, then it was North... Do you remember North?
Okay, yeah. Roger Ebert's most hated movie of all time.
Yeah, and then she was in a couple of TV shows. One was, oh my God, she was in Dinosaurs. The Single Guy.
Dinosaurs before Seinfeld started.
Yeah.
No way. Dinosaurs was mid-90s. There's no chance.
All right, wait. Oh, no, you're right. No. Sorry, scratch what I just said. It went National Lampoons.
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
Okay. Was it just set out weird on
It was
IMDb?
set out weird on IMDb.
I get you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love how after Seinfeld, she didn't have to work again until 2003.
Well, why? Because she's so amazing and just one of the most funniest people of all time.
Just started. She's like, you know what? I'm not done, and just started up again, and she's
continues to kick goals
with Veep, and
for
now
sure.
moving into movies, and I'm loving it.
She's the best. Yeah, look, I don't want to be a Grinch. This is the exact
no, but I like that we've got
of being a Grinch.
Yeah, I know, but
we're
I like
hating
that
on a Christmas traditional movie that
but
everyone
I like
loves.
that. I like that we're doing a movie in Christmas that we don't like. Like you can't win them all, is what I'm saying.
No,
and if a lot of people, maybe a lot of people still like this.
Well, to me, this is the kind of movie that I think there's enough, like momentary gags. Like, if you are watching it to watch a movie,
sure,
I think you will be very unsatisfied.
Yeah, I'd rather you watch Iron Man 3.
What an odd choice. I mean, it is kind of a Christmas movie. But if it's on, like for instance, if this is your Christmas tradition, that when you put up the tree or when you wrap presents with the family, you put on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I can see it being a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, because
you're maintaining conversation. You kind of you're distracted. You made a tea. You might be having a bit of eggnog.
Nice.
And you can catch the little funny moments here and there, and you can look up on the screen and, oh, isn't it funny he fell through the roof? That dog's going to try and hump him. Yeah, exactly. And then back to wrapping presents. So I can see it working that way.
Yeah.
I can't. If you sit down to watch this movie the way we sat down to watch it because we host a movie podcast, this movie does not work anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've made myself laugh.
You were about to lose it, then.
I was. Sorry.
That's actually the most interesting visual gag for me in this whole movie is over the final credits, where we get that shot of Clark Griswold and he's staring wistfully out into the sky, thinking, "Yes, I've done it. We're going to have a great Christmas." Pans out, and the dog's there staring at him the whole time, and he just kind of looks down like,
"Oh shit, this is going to happen." Just going to let it happen.
It's best to just let it finish. Oh God, that is not bad. That's actually because there's a lot of visual gags in this movie. That was
a good one
because it's a slow burn. The credits are happening. You don't expect it at all.
Just let it go.
And there's that
let
dog.
it go.
I
like it.
I like it too. There are a couple. There
were. I should have written down the ones that I liked because there were a couple. But I didn't write them down, and they're not coming to mind. So good.
Do you know what I noticed that was kind of cool?
Yeah.
A couple of uses of matte painting in this.
Yes.
Which I enjoyed. There was one where it was a wide shot, and he's on the ladder, and you could see that the ladder was clearly real, but the house was a matte painting.
Yep.
And I liked it. I thought it was really nice detail.
Yeah.
And the shot I feel like it's a shot that I feel like Simpsons have used it like 17 times over the course of but it's the one where something ridiculous happens and so it drains all the power from the rest of the houses.
The rest of the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some dude somewhere goes
Simpsons
auxiliary.
has done that a lot.
Yeah, auxiliary power, and then it all comes like that was a matte painting I think as well. And it looked lovely.
It was good.
I was like, that's cool.
Really good.
We're always a big fan of that stuff. So.
We are. I love matte paintings.
I think that's it.
I love Christmas as well.
I do love Christmas too.
But this is the last time I'm going to watch this. If Clark asks to watch this, I'm going to go, yeah, cool. You watch it. I'm going to be over here, buddy.
We need an alternative then. We need a crazy family at Christmas movie that... Because I think that what the movie...
This is, I would rather watch Planes, Trains and just tell him that Thanksgiving is a...
that's obviously that's a nice... Actually, it's a great story between two people. There's a lot of swearing.
A lot of swearing.
Doesn't Steve Martin have that massive rant?
It held the record for quite a while. I think it's
it.
11 fucks in one scene.
Love it.
Yeah.
Because I do think this movie captures there's a line that Beverly D'Angelo says or something.
Yeah.
I think I might be paraphrasing it, but it's like when they're talking about how people have got to be in different rooms and what are we going to do? And she says, darling, it's Christmas. We're all suffering. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That to me is a really great summation of what this movie could have been a great version of.
Yeah.
That movie where it's the family's here and oh God, but obviously we love them and it's Christmas and we love Christmas, but oh God, the family's here.
Yeah.
Is there a better example of that? I don't
think there is. I'm trying to rack my brain. There isn't. Because Home Alone, you get it.
The sound of Nick's brain.
That's a pen. But
no, but I was like, that's when you give me the answer.
Oh,
so
ready, go again? Home Alone does it a little bit, but
Home Alone does do it a little bit.
But that's it. You only get a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure there are other movies that have done it, but none that are kind of in the public consciousness as much as this movie is.
This movie is.
Maybe that's why it still hangs around, because
I think
it's the one movie that you can watch and go, huh,
no,
families,
wait. Crackers.
The Australian one.
Have you seen that?
No, I'll be honest, I have not seen that.
It is like as much as you know, I'm not a fan of Australian film because I know that you're not either. But a friend of my brother's, his name is Daniel Beach, and he said, Nick, I need you to watch Crackers because I know how much you hate Australia, and it's really, really good. And Tyson, it actually was. It was funny because not only is it a family coming together and all hell breaks loose, Tice, but it's Australian. So they're having a barbecue, and it's a lot. You're going to relate to it a lot more. I used to speak really good English. And then I think I hit my head. Either that or my wife has been smacking me because I snore.
Just on the back of the head.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably not wrong.
It's just not as well known. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Can you stream Crackers?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Christmas with the Cranks? What's that about?
Christmas with the Cranks. That's another one.
I suppose that could be interesting.
Look, no one's going to watch it, but that's okay. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure?
Yes, there is a sequel. Have you seen it?
I did not know that this existed. No.
It is the sequel that everyone was asking for. Cousin Eddie, gets his own standalone movie.
Oh,
Randy Quaid's bloody alimony checks get paid by this character because apart from
this and Independence Day,
I'll tell you what though, he's
gone
exceptionally funny in Another Teen Movie. I think he
Who
does.
Is he in Another
he's
Teen?
the dad.
Oh God,
and
I don't remember that at all.
He's the when he says he's like, oh, I might not be able to pick you up from school today, honey. He's like, oh, why is that, Dad? You got a job interview? No, I'll probably just be blind drunk.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That was good. No, Crackers, it's a full pass.
All right, well, yeah, so I guess that's why this movie still kind of lives on. Maybe we need another one.
Maybe
we need a big
another one.
Family all in the one house celebrating Christmas. I swear to God, there is another one. There is another one. I need to know I need to find it. Listeners, you've got to help me out, please.
Write in. This is your chance to message us. Tell us what it is. We're obviously missing one. Email.
Why do I feel like Steve Martin is in it?
Yeah, Mixed Nuts.
Well, is that Christmas?
Is that Christmas? I don't know.
There's one with him wearing a Christmas hat.
Mixed Nuts.
Is it Mixed Nuts?
You're an idiot. Yeah, Mixed Nuts.
Is he wearing a Christmas hat on the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you.
You should know this.
What's
Steve
that
Martin
about?
Fan.
Read the synopsis.
The events focused around one crisis hotline business and one crazy night during the Christmas holidays. Yeah, it's not a family. It's about a nutter.
No, I don't think that's what I was thinking of then.
No.
I mean, I think obviously that's what...
Nora Ephron, though.
I was thinking of Steve Martin with a Christmas hat on.
I love Madeline Kahn. Oh, Madeline Kahn. She's dead now. 99. When did John Hughes die? Why wasn't that a big thing?
It was a pretty big thing, but it was... I feel like it was 2000 and... I want to say 2010. I could be completely wrong.
10. Okay.
We can have a little look now.
Let's have a squizzer.
John Hughes is really one of my all-time faves. 2009.
2009. I don't remember that.
Well, it was kind of before the time when...
What did he die?
When everyone posted every single...
prayers and thoughts?
Yeah. I think I might have even... I think I did
thoughts.
something. I remember seeing a thing on Facebook on my memories. It came up and I was like, I don't know, I'd written something like... Thanks for my upbringing or something.
I'm pretty sure I just posted the Simple Minds film clip.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think it's time to move on, Nicholas.
Forget about me. Don't. I do that voice really well. I think I could be wrong. Hey. Ooh. I like it. We're moving on.
Let's move on.
All right,
Nick, I think it's time we get to our next segment, which is...
Let's do it faster. What did you watch this week?
That was too quick for me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get there.
Ready? Here we go. And
Ready? Count me in.
3, 2, 1. What did you watch? What are you doing? And in 3, 2, 1.
What did you watch this week? All right. You just tried to count in a musician by going 3, 2, 1. By the way,
sorry,
it's
not. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. I dance.
It should have been 5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
What did you watch, Nick?
Tyson, watched something I asked you to hold on to last week because I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, very good. Yes, let's have a discussion about that. Yeah, I was pretty late to the party too.
Yeah.
I did just watch it. Yeah,
I was very upset that I didn't see it at the cinema.
Me too.
We wanted to, remember, we were very adamant about supporting, which really we didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because this is going to make bank no matter what. It's a Marvel movie.
Look, it actually didn't do that well. Like,
I know.
Comparatively, it was pretty underwhelming.
But looking on Box Office Mojo, it was up. It's in the top 20.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. It probably made 150, 160 mil.
It's fine.
But these movies cost, that much.
They do. And the effects on this thing were awesome.
The average kind of box office, I'd say, is probably closer to about 280 to 300 mil, I'd say, for one of these Marvel films. What did you think, Nick? I'd be interested.
I enjoyed it, but as soon as I finished it, this is probably the second or maybe third Marvel film that I was like, oh yeah, that was good. I don't have a burning desire to rewatch it straight away, which has happened to every other single one apart from maybe Iron Man 2 and Thor 2, and I'm going to say Ragnarok as well. I need to watch Ragnarok again though.
Sure.
But apart from that, look, I liked it. I thought the storyline was good. It was solid. There were a few gripes that I had. I didn't like that it was Hank and Hope against Scott for most of the film.
Sure.
Because of what happened in Civil War.
Yep.
So there was a bit of backlash there. I didn't like that journey. But once they were all on, it was kind of a caper and they were like, okay, we have to do this thing.
Yep.
But yeah, apart from that, it was fine. It was fine. I watched it, had a ball. It was great. Will I watch it again? Look, I'm not going to jump at it. There are other things and other things that I can do with my time, but it wasn't bad by any means. Do you know what I mean?
No,
it was good. It was a good story.
Funny, yeah.
The special effects were great. Like some of the things was wow, that was actually really badass.
It's pretty impressive.
Have his shrinking fuck up and him be like a midget, and I was like, that's hilarious. That's actually quite funny.
There was some good gags,
and it's not. What is the? No, it's gone.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It'll come back. What did you think of it, Tice?
I was fine with it. Much the same way I felt about. Actually, it's funny. This is a completely individual feeling I've had about this movie compared to any other Marvel films.
Yeah.
And I know we shouldn't just watch it and have to compare it to everything else, but I will compare it to the first one.
Yeah.
The first Ant-Man I was a huge defender of because when it came to people talking about its worthiness amongst the other characters, I actually appreciated that it was smaller scale.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that it felt kind of inconsequential to the huge picture.
Yeah.
It was nice, and it was a nice self-contained story dealing with characters that maybe aren't on such a grand worldwide scale that the rest of the Avengers are.
Yeah.
Because of where I'm at right now and where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is right now, that didn't work for me this time.
Right.
You
didn't like that it was sort of like a relaxing breath.
The problem is I'm in Infinity War headspace.
Okay.
And so watching something inconsequential this time just made me get kind of fidgety.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, but I appreciate that this is just a nicely told, well-acted, well-written, nice villains too. Like, I really liked Lawrence Fishburne in this. I think it was cool.
And what was her name? The Ghost?
The
Ghost,
Ghost. Like, nice,
John Carter.
nice kind of grey area villains where you're getting, stuff like that. Like, I'm usually really on board for that. But I found myself just sitting there saying, this is not where I want to be right now. The most important thing in this universe is happening at the moment elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's like someone pushed pause on that and made me watch another 2-hour movie instead of
not even a movie, almost like a good episode,
or like an episode.
That's what it felt like to me at the end. I was like, oh, that was a decent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes,
think something like that.
So
what you would have rather had been his story. You don't see any of the other Avengers, but you hear about them, and his story is interwoven.
I would have liked
if
his story was had more consequence on what we were dealing with already.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm just, and look, that's me. That's where I'm at, and I don't make any apologies for my own judgment. It's just unfortunate that has coloured the way I watched this movie, because I'm so anxious and excited to continue that story, that this little sidestep kind of just felt it just annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, fair deal.
It's like waking up on Christmas Day
oh, yeah. Throwback.
and being told that no, it's actually Christmas Eve again.
Or getting up Christmas Day and
Imagine going to bed.
Your presents are coming on Boxing Day.
Yes. Imagine going to bed Christmas Eve, waking up Christmas Day, and your parents coming down and saying, look, we've actually had to move everything to tomorrow because your relatives won't get here. There was a big giant snowstorm, so none of your presents are here. Your relatives won't get here, so we're going to have Christmas tomorrow.
It's not that
and you
bad.
just have to but you just have to sit there and twiddle your thumbs for a day because now you have to wait longer. Okay. And so while I was excited to have a Marvel movie, it felt like a distraction from where my head's at.
And it was just a little. Paul Rudd wasn't as Paul Rudd in this.
Oh, I did.
There weren't some Paul Ruddy moments.
Yeah.
Even though who made up for it? Michael Pena.
Michael Pena is always great.
Always welcome. Always welcome.
I really
always
enjoy his little band of cronies that he has built.
That Russian dude scares the shit out of me, by the way.
Funny.
I'm like, you're quite scary.
Yeah.
You're quite scary. I'm not going to mess with you anytime soon.
So I did laugh.
You did laugh?
I did enjoy. Ultimately,
I did like who...
I felt its placement in the release schedule was not right.
Okay. I did like who was cast as Janet Van Dyne.
Oh, yeah. It's so cool to see Michelle Pfeiffer again.
Amazing. And she just fits right in. It's perfect.
It is perfect. It's like she's had experience with comic book stuff, so she knows that kind of world. I'm such a huge Michelle Pfeiffer fan.
Yeah.
Like, she's just great.
But yeah, like the Wasp and Ant-Man's, are they on? Are they off? Do they, what are they doing? It was not a thing. Like,
don't mind
do
their
it.
chemistry.
Yeah, but it wasn't neat. Like,
it's not
if you're going to do it, do it. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. Like, pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did get, while I did have, obviously, that was my big gripe with the film itself, we did get a post-credit scene. Spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, so this is where if you're going to watch Ant-Man, like Sam, because I watched it by myself, Sam's like, should I watch it? I was like, to be honest, I would watch it specifically for that scene because it's almost, you have to see this in order to find out what's going on. And after seeing the trailer, which we've just seen last week, that came out last week, ending with Ant-Man rocking up at the Avengers gates, you're like, okay, well, this either is one, it is Ant-Man, two, this has happened in the past and we're having a flashback, or three, Ant-Man is a Skrull. That is the other thing.
Yes.
The person that has rocked up to the door of the Avengers is being Ant-Man, but he's a Skrull.
Sure.
So I think the other thing.
I tend to think that it's most likely the first option, that it is Ant-Man, and that he has
found a way out.
Because he has the van with him, and there was that while he was in the quantum realm, he has discovered what does she say? Time portals or something? Don't get in a time vortex.
Yep.
He's discovered a time vortex, and he has found a way to. And I think that's why he's so excited to arrive at Avengers, because he's basically saying, "Dudes, I've figured out a way to travel through time without the time stone.
We need to do this."
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's where we're heading.
All right. It was a very nice credit sequence.
It was
one of my favourites that has been in a while, because we haven't had a good one in a while.
Yeah, well,
Do you think?
They needed to pay reference to the fact of what was happening, because that's what I mean. It's such a huge thing that's happening.
Yeah, you can't.
None of these movies can now.
It was almost cheap, wasn't it, that you did it at the end? Have it be at the end of the film, not the post-credit sequence. No.
I see what you're saying. It could have been cool as the actual last scene of the movie and not the post-credits.
Yeah.
And then the post-credits itself
is him driving to the Avengers.
Or maybe
or getting out.
Something in the quantum realm where he kind of is flipping out and then...
And goes...
just sees something, or goes to do something and then does it again a second later and his brain triggers. And or he sees something and goes, wow, deja vu. And
a black cat. Oh, deja vu. I must be in the Matrix. Oh, Neo. I love Keanu Reeves.
Perfect.
All right.
You hear that, Marvel? We've got it sorted.
We've got it sorted.
We figured it out.
Look, give us the reins. We'll take over from here.
Yeah. Don't worry about Feige. We got you sorted.
Take a Christmas off. Tyce.
Yep.
What did you watch this week?
Nick, I watched The Predator.
Oh.
Shane Black is back, baby.
Let me hear it. Is he?
He's not back.
Oh, no. No.
So, obviously, this movie was not super successful. No. Halloween, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he's mixing it up a little bit.
I don't like that.
No, I don't
Maybe
like it.
that's
That was the first step wrong.
There we go. Okay.
He should have known better.
Really? What's going on? What
So,
happened?
look, okay, so it was not very successful. It was reviewed terribly. And I went in and I was still being really defensive of it. I was like, no, Shane Black and Predator, I just think it's going to work. I just don't think it's going to be for everybody. And so I went in with still low expectations, but I was still wanting to defend it and wanting to like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to like, man. There's stuff in it that's okay.
Right.
There's moments that work, but generally I found the whole thing really, really just so unsure of what it wanted to be.
Okay.
And so at odds with all the other Predator movies. And so at odds with itself. Like, it does not know what kind of movie it wants to be. Well, when we're talking about how well he juggled tone in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
None of it. Oh, man.
We've forgotten what our roots are.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if jokes are meant to be jokes in this movie. Like, there is some stuff that I am just, like, scratching my head thinking, does he think this is funny, or am I meant to feel sorry for this person because they think it's funny? Like, lines of dialogue that are just so tone deaf. Plot developments that are just, like...
Where is this going?
You've just got to go with it and just go, okay, all right. Like, some stuff, obviously, some stuff is good. There is always going to be some good stuff in a Shane Black film. There's some action sequences that are pretty clever and well directed. The original Predator that is in it is pretty great. The design is always cool. And it's just kind of every now and then it's just a little bit assisted with some CGI, and it works really nicely.
Nice.
But then there's stuff like the Predator dog things that are in this again after Predators.
Oh yeah.
We get the more Pred dogs.
Pred dogs. Dogs.
And the whatever you want to call it, Ultra Predator, Uber Predator, Mega Predator.
Shredder. What do they call it? Super Shredder.
Super Zord, Mega
Super Zord,
Shredder.
Tron.
Tron, yes. Is fucking like so bad.
Oh really?
I was amazed at this movie's like complete lack of decent CGI. Like, some of it is
So you don't. So obviously, because the reason that I thought that this did bad is because allegations came out about someone on this film set. Yeah. Which is not going to do well for a movie.
Of course not. But I mean, people, yes, Shane Black. This goes back to what we were talking about last week as well. I'm starting to think Shane Black might not be a very nice person, but
fuck,
doesn't mean it doesn't mean he can't write a good movie. I mean, it's like it's fine. But I was talking about how he has a weird habit of making the white guy the normal, and then the kind of the accessory to the white person is somebody either gay or black or female.
Yeah. And also his females aren't always, they'd never have their shit together. Ever.
Yeah. And there's some suspect dialogue in this as well.
Jesus.
Like some conversations that I'm like, I thought we were kind of past this.
Really?
And then, hearing about the fact that, and look, it's like we said with James Gunn, the guy's, he's done his time. He maybe wanted to give a second chance to one of his mates, but man, like you can't keep it a secret. You can't just put it in the movie and hope no one notices, because someone will notice and then it happens.
You don't do that. In the climate that we're in, you go, mate, I'd love to have you in my movie, but unfortunately I can't because of the climate that we're in.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. I'm still your mate, and I know you're sorry, but
and that's it. Hey,
public
maybe
is fucking ruthless,
maybe you
man.
need
they are ruthless.
Yeah, exactly. You need to maybe you need to do some more, recovery time, and really show me that you blah blah. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
The reason why he put him in it is irrelevant, but I don't think it ended up really hurting.
Yeah, so you're saying that the story, the actual making of this film, hurt the film. The film itself.
Yeah, no, the word of mouth that this was garbage is what hurt it, and they're not entirely wrong.
Not wrong.
It's not fair of me to say I didn't have a good time while watching it, because it is dumb, ridiculous. There are some pretty wacky action sequences,
Decent.
and I'm never bored. I was never bored.
Okay.
It's actually paced really interestingly.
Okay.
It just kind of goes. Like, from scene 1 to the end of the movie,
Yeah.
it's just like one big action sequence with probably like a tiny little, maybe a 10-minute break in the middle.
Okay.
It just kind of
Who's your
rolls
protagonist in
along.
this thing?
Boyd Holbrook,
Who is
playing like I can't remember his fucking name. Like the name.
No. Who else has he played?
Oh, he's the bad guy from Logan.
Right.
Yeah. What else? He did something else that I really liked him in. And so he's fine. He does a reasonably good job.
Uh-huh.
And then probably there's 3 kind of main characters. Then there's Olivia Munn.
My favourite actress, Olivia Munn.
As like a scientist who is called in because she's an expert in alien technology or something like that.
Olivia Munn, I love you.
And then there is what is his name?
Trevante Rhodes? No. Jacob Tembley?
No, that's the kid.
Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane is in this thing?
I think it is.
Old school Predator.
No, it's not Trevante Rhodes. He's one of the
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, Sterling K. Brown. Yeah, as he plays like a special ops kind of government branch guy who wants to know more about the Predator and blah 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 blah.
For research, for for weapons.
It's always for weapons.
It's always for weapons. I want them to do... I was talking about this at work the other day.
Oh, yeah?
We were talking about the Alien quadrilogy and where each one sits for you. And everyone was bagging out 3, and I have an issue with that because that's Fincher's first film.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you have a look at the making, it copped a lot of flack because it was just producers pushing him around.
Sure.
And everyone... And me and a guy at work were like, no. If there is a weak one, it's fucking Resurrection. Because I hated Resurrection.
Right.
I thought it was a good premise. But what I wanted to see in the next Alien, Predator, whatever the hell film, is for them to get to the alien as a weapon and see Earth where... Oh, you want to invade? Okay, cool. Well, we're going to send a shitload of aliens your way and deal with that.
So they've actually succeeded, in weaponizing aliens.
Weaponizing the alien.
Do you reckon they just want the goo that's in them?
No, I think
because that would work pretty well too.
That's true. No, but
what else would you need?
I want them to
weaponize
it. No. I want them to weaponize it, and then they we've got a mission. Let's send the aliens. They send it, and then all hell breaks loose.
How would you do that with like a chip in their heads? Maybe
I think you'd send
an AI that controls them.
No, I think you'd send a body that has. You'd send 4 or 5 bodies that have eggs inside, and you just let them sit there, then burst, and
that's how they weaponize it.
And then shit all runs
like
loose.
kamikaze style.
Yeah. You go, those are dead bodies.
Like in my head, I was imagining like an army of aliens.
Army of aliens who actually have thought and they're controlling them.
Yeah.
No, because you can't.
And there's a dude
it's aiming them, and that's why
basically playing Civilization.
Yeah,
just selecting a big chunk of them and moving them over here.
Done. Yeah, and you aim them, and then when that is done, then they all break loose and go, oh shit, we've lost control. Oh, let's send in the Marines. Oh, that didn't work. Let's send in nuclear weapons. Oh, that didn't work. And oh shit, now we've lost Earth. That's what the next Alien movie needs to be. That's what I think. Ridley Scott, call me. You know what? Don't call me. I don't want to word it. I don't want to bar with you. No, I'm kidding. Call me. What's up?
I think. No, you're right. I think this. There's definitely that's not a bad pitch.
See, there you go. I'm telling you, that's my pitch. Copyright, by the way, Nick Tice. Okay.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Really?
Damn,
fuck.
We have to. Don't we have to like mail a copy of this podcast to ourselves in the future or something?
Okay, cool. So yeah. I've got a lot of good pitch. We should do a pitch episode. My other pitch.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Let's do it.
My other pitch.
This is like Shark Tank. I'll be deciding whether or not I want to buy this movie or not.
Cool.
Let's go.
Okay. What we're going to do is redo the first 3 Star Wars films.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is not. It's all right. Stay with me. Bear with me.
I'm almost showing you the door. Let's
bear with me.
Yep.
So what happens? Just a little subplot. I'm going to work out the rest later in the storyboards. This is hilarious. But what I want to do is have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon dies via Darth Maul, but Darth Maul, they fight, but Darth Maul doesn't die. He flies away. Now, I know a lot of people are screaming down the barrel at me going, Nick, you haven't seen Clone Wars, the cartoon? And no, I haven't. But what would happen then is Attack of the Clones happens, and then in Revenge of the Sith, Darth Maul comes back, and instead of Sidious or whatever the fuck the robot with the thing happening. It's actually
General Grievous.
General Grievous, thank you. Instead of General Grievous, it's Darth Maul. And we have an actual, a fight with some weight in it. And he does way more. And also, the fight doesn't end with, oh, by the way, I'm preaching to the choir here. I've got the higher ground, you lose. That's the worst fucking way to end a fight in the history of fights.
It's just like they just got tired of
it was the worst.
hitting this lifesavers against each other. It was like, oh fuck it, can we just end this thing now?
It really was horrible.
So you want to remake the entire
if I could do that just for that
prequel trilogy to just change
that. Could I change that? Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh man, you got a deal.
Hey, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a feeling there is this guy. I have a feel I can't remember. He's a YouTube guy, and I can't bother talking about it actually.
Good story.
But I feel like I've heard a story similar to that. Yeah. Someone else who tried to be like, "Hey, let's fix Star Wars," like how people do that on the. And I think you might be close to what he suggested as well.
That was my thing, you bastard.
Well,
copyright.
No one will ever believe it now. Fuck, Nick. That's not how copyright works. You can't just yell copyright down to the microphone.
Pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Oh, God. All right. So, to wrap up that conversation.
Yep.
Watch The Predator, because I'd be really interested to hear your opinion.
I'm not watch it.
Yeah, but it was pretty disappointing.
It was such a rad poster as well.
Nick.
Tice.
Time for our next segment.
Which is...
Crossing the Streams! Oh, I got some height that time. That was good. Yeah, I was feeling better about that.
All right. Lock that in.
So we're not actually going to cross any streams today.
No, we're going to
have a conversation.
We're going to have a conversation, yeah, which is quite good because today on the way home, I was searching the Twitter and saw that the Australian streaming service Stan has picked up the rights to the entirety of Disney. Now, this is massive.
That's massive. This is a huge win for Stan.
Not only do they get the Disney movies that we love, which is, Frozen, Little Mermaid, and The Lion King, which is a big sell.
They're the three. We'll explain. There is a small promotional video that tells you some of the titles. I'm under the impression
that you're getting the lot.
That we're getting pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Because the way they explain about the Marvel movies is, I believe they say you can watch all of the Marvel movies.
And then they show a shot of Thanos.
Yeah. That does have, it says available in January or something of that one.
Right.
So, because I remember, because it was coming to Netflix on Boxing Day, Infinity War.
Okay.
So
that's a nice Boxing
Day
watch. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
So maybe, I don't know whether that's still going to happen, whether Netflix is allowed to still do this stuff. But I find this so fascinating that Stan has just basically come in.
They've got Pixar, they've got Up, they've got Finding Nemo, they've got Incredibles, they've got Disney, they've got all the Disney channels of like High School Musical and all that stuff that I'm too old to watch.
I'll crack out a High School Musical here and there.
Of course you will.
I mean, I'd love to know what the full extent of what we're talking about, which we're going to find out tomorrow. So by the time this episode actually is released, we will know the extent of what we're dealing with.
And this is a shot in the arm. I know a lot of people who are like, do you have Netflix or do you have Stan? And I have both. And they're like, both. I got rid of Stan because there was nothing. Well, guess what? You're getting back Stan.
It's I never wanted to get rid of Stan because I find Stan's television stuff so much better than Netflix's.
Yeah.
Like Netflix has great originals TV shows.
Yeah.
But it's like its back catalogue of TV shows was never as good for me as what Stan had. So I didn't want to get rid of it. Its movie selections. Sorry, remember what were you going to say?
Doesn't Stan have West Wing?
Yeah, that's part of why I didn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Its movie selections were probably not as they weren't like as big blockbusters, I think. But I found it went a little bit deeper. Like its movie selections, there was stuff that I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah.
Stuff like 80s and 90s stuff that I was always like, oh, yeah, I heard about that movie. I should give it a watch. And then it was just there on Stan.
Nice.
So I never wanted to get rid of it. And man, now this is huge. If I could actually legitimately go through and do a Marvel marathon on streaming, because Netflix has never had more than 2 or 3 at a time available.
Yeah.
What a great way to spend some time. Finally have it all there. To watch some of those animated features in HD, streaming, it'll be lovely.
Or even if they go back, if they do the full, let's say that they get the entire Disney catalogue. Now, Tyson and I were talking about this before we started recording. We think possibly this is because Disney Plus may not be coming to Australia just yet. There is talks of 2020 we get Disney Plus, but this is only obviously very, very, very early days.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, meanwhile, Stan's picked it up and awesome. So if they do have the entirety of the Disney catalogue, watching old school Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck stuff, that is what
that could be really fun, yeah.
That's what I'm interested in. Things like that. Because you don't get those things anymore. Remember it was Sunday Night Disney. It was a mirror. It was the
Wonderful
magic,
World of Disney.
Yeah, it was a magic mirror, and you watched that, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Even though it was always fucking Herbie the Love Bug, and I was like, oh, fuck off.
Oh man, can I watch some Herbie?
No, yeah, you can.
Can I watch Darby O'Gill and the Little People?
Yes, you can.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Can I watch?
You can watch Sword in the Stone.
Yeah, I love Sword in the Stone.
Who doesn't love Sword in the Stone?
Some more of those bullshit. What are some of those terrible movies Kurt Russell made in the 70s?
War Games? War Games was a Disney? No? Yes? No?
I think you can watch War Games at any point though.
Oh, really?
If you're so inclined. No, come on. Oh, what was it called?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm looking it up now.
Benji the Hunted? That was Disney? Was that Disney?
Benji?
Benji was Disney? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Maybe. Hang on, I've got to find it.
Pippi Longstocking? No, she wasn't Disney.
No, she was not Disney.
But you're talking about old school Disney stuff. Sword in the Stone, Snow White, Pinocchio, Dumbo? Dumbo's going to hit?
Yeah, I'd watch those.
But Pixar, you've got all the Pixar.
Oh, if we get, I mean, that's...
The fact that,
That's exciting as well, because there are a few there that
I don't own.
I don't own, and I've only really seen the once, and I'd love to watch again.
I want to watch Ratatouille because of how much my friend Tice has talked about how much he loves it.
Ratatouille's the best.
Yeah, I remember watching it was good, but I can't believe you don't like Inside Out. I bawled like a baby.
No, it's not that I didn't like
full
Inside
crying.
Out.
I was going I was doing that.
I was just
full on, and it wasn't at the end either. It was midway through. I'm not going to tell you which part because I'll get teased at school.
The Barefoot Executive from Walt Disney Productions.
The Barefoot Executive.
Yeah. Look who's gone bananas. It's about a monkey that a young man who works in a mailroom at a TV network wants to move up the corporate ladder, but finds himself stymied.
That's not a word.
Yeah, by his selfish boss. By chance, he discovers that his neighbour's chimpanzee has a knack for picking successful TV programs. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That might be my first watch on Stan tomorrow, if that's available.
That is so funny.
But yeah, so no specific crossing the stream. We're just telling you all to get Stan.
Get Stan again, to be honest.
Do it.
If you don't...
Because you're, yeah.
Understandable if you don't watch kids' movies. This is aimed at one particular listener who doesn't watch kids' movies and hates... superhero movies, so he's out.
Oh, he's got no point. Yeah,
he's got no point, and that's fine.
You get the Star Wars though now.
Oh yeah, you get to watch The Last Jedi again if that's your.
I'm pretty sure because now Disney back owns them as well, so I like.
Oh, you can watch the rest of.
I'm pretty sure. I would be surprised if they didn't upload most of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to watch Lucas. The fact that Lucas is fucked with them.
Yeah. It would be those ones. Yeah,
and I'm a proud owner of those 70s versions. Yeah. Thank you.
It'll be at least Force Awakens and Last Jedi, which I'd be, to be quite honest, I'd love to watch again.
Rogue One. I want to watch Rogue One again. I want to give that another shot.
They've been floating around Netflix for a little while, those ones. Rogue One and what's the other? No, Solo was the other one. I don't need to ever see that movie again.
To be honest, it was okay. It was better than Ant-Man. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to. I take that back. I take that back. I liked both of them very well. They were both different movies, and I had a good time. Welcome to Nick Tyson Videotape. My name is Nicholas.
I was like, and you can't tell me any differently. You were putting on your pants, and you were like,
those are my pants, and I'm going to watch it if I want to.
And you can't do anything about it.
Stubborn pants.
Nick, I reckon that might wrap us up, man.
Tyson, that was good.
Yeah, why don't you remind the people again where they can find us, my man?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. You can find us everywhere, which is iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and the main one, Tyson, is...
That's Radio Public, my man.
Radio Public, and we would love it if you did listen to us. Even if you don't, if you listen to us on iTunes because you got all your stuff set up, like a lot of people do, download it, and just hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing.
No.
And we get money for it. Which
That's
we
it.
would
We
love
just,
you for.
and, not a lot at all. And it's not like we're trying to, it's not like we're going to be cashing in and making it big from this. I mean, ideally, it'd be amazing if we could cover the costs of actually just producing the show. And that's all we really want. We know we're not going to be like, we're not trying to be like millionaires off fucking talking shit about movies.
Hey.
But wouldn't it be great to just cover the costs?
And wouldn't it be nice if Nick Tice ended up being the new David and Margaret? And that'd be hilarious.
We've almost, the way we do actually record it's our these big chairs. We really should take a photo of these big chairs to show people just how fond of ourselves we are.
Because we do it
when we're sitting in these fucking chairs.
We sit comfortable. I don't want to be sitting in a beanbag doing. I hate beanbags.
We should put a camera here. Just up in the side, and so we can occasionally glance at the camera.
Well, that's where my brother has actually asked, can you film? Because I'm not going to listen to it unless you film. I want to watch you guys talk about it. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not filming this for 2 hours.
That's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot of work.
One static shot for 2 hours? Right? Who's going to watch that?
People.
Terrible.
People watch that.
Weirdos.
Well, no, we could have a camera there and a camera here.
Oh, yeah, sure. No worries.
And
I'll do that.
Who's editing that shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll pass. But apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join us on the social media, we do chuck a lot of stuff on there.
We do.
I did like that you put up Tom Cruise telling people to
fix your television, people.
Your
it's been something I've been going on about for years and years. Every time someone I know gets a new television, I demand the remote from them, and I turn that shit off.
Tice did it to me. I was very, very thankful.
There you go.
Yep.
So I'm glad Tom Cruise is getting on board now, because it is important. Don't support bullshit technology that does not make your movies look better.
They look so much worse. But apart from that, join us on the social media. And next week, Tice?
Well, next week we're going to just going to keep a lid on it for a second. We're going to do an announcement. It's going to be it's our last episode for the year, Nick.
It is our last episode of the year.
And it'll come out probably a couple of days before Christmas. So we want to give you something really special. We want to do a really nice Christmas episode for you. So we're going to sit on it for a couple of days and decide what we want to do.
Which I would have, if you are like me and spend some of Christmas Day in a car because you're travelling to the relatives that you're going to see. Nick, Tice, and Videotape.
What a great way to celebrate Christmas.
Style.
Well, we're going to be singing carols. We're going to be drinking eggnog.
There's going to be pfeffernussens.
With those words that thing that I can't pronounce, the pfeffernussens.
Yeah, that one.
It sounds like you're saying pfeffernussens.
Yeah.
Like, what a pfeffernussens.
What a pfeffernussens? No.
It sounds like what you'd call somebody who's pissing you off.
Yeah.
Oh, such a pfeffernussens.
A very G-rated swear word. What a pfeffernussens that man is. No. We're gonna be celebrating.
We will be celebrating, and we're going to be celebrating with a well-loved Christmas classic. We just haven't decided which one yet. So keep an eye on the socials, and we'll let you know.
Tice, till then.
Yes, till then, Nick.
I'm gonna watch some shitload of Stan.
Yeah, me too, bud. Me too.
We'll see you soon.
See you, bud.
Bye.
Bye.